You ready for this?
Gonna be fun.
You will not stand in my way.
Frostborn. Hunger. This pleases me.
I do not fear you, mortal.
Your soul shall be mine.
Don't make me laugh.
Needs a brew? Oh, I do. Feel a shredding, baby. Let the battle begin.
Hello and welcome to the 73rd episode of the Nexus Trolls, a podcast all about Heroes of the Storm, part of the Trolls.gg Entertainment Network. I'm your host, Daz, and I'm joined, as always, today by Mystic. Mystic, how's it going, bud?
It's going pretty good. Fenix has been released into the Nexus, and he's vaporizing everybody.
And you gotta love it, too, because he's your StarCraft hero you wanted so badly, so you get to play a little StarCraft in Heroes.
Oh, yeah.
We've actually got a special guest joining myself and Mystic this week, and it's not LiQuid. It's Goon, formerly known as GOON, coach
That's right.
of Open Division Team Reborn. He's a caster, a streamer, and a HOTS enthusiast. He likes sunny walks on the beach. Not sunny, long walks on the beach. There you go. But anyways, Goon, welcome to the show. How's it going?
Thanks for having me, man. Pretty good.
No problem.
Excited to be here. Talk some hots.
Yeah, no kidding. And I've wanted to have you on for a while, but every time I'm like, we should get Goon on. I'm like, oh, he's guesting on Gankbush this week, or he's guesting on Troll HGC. I'm like, I gotta wait a little bit now, so it doesn't feel like I'm trying to like steal everybody's guests. But we waited the grace period of a few weeks, and we're like, let's get Goon back on.
Yeah. It's pretty busy. Most of my time now is taken up watching scrims, games, replays, stuff like that. So, but yeah, I'm glad I could finally be on here. I've made it, Mom. I'm here. We made it.
Nice. We're so glad to have you. So tell us a little bit of what you do. Like you're an Open Division coach. Like how did that opportunity arise? Like what else do you do in the hot scene as well? Because I know you do a lot of streaming and casting too.
Yeah. So I used to play a lot more HOTS than I do now. I played on some open teams and some other amateur teams and whatnot, and I started finding out over time that I enjoyed watching and analyzing HOTS a lot more than playing and teaching others about HOTS. And I saw a post, and it was on Reddit. And a friend of mine was playing on this Open Division team for an org named Reborn, and they were looking for a coach. And I was like, you know what? Let's try it out. Let's see if I'm any good at this and whatnot. And try it out. And gave them my memes, and they liked it. And now I'm there. Now I'm coaching and watching these guys improve and helping them improve and improving myself as well, because I'm also learning a lot about the game, watching other teams and how they play the game as well. It's been a pretty cool experience. I do stream. I like to what's the word I'm looking for? Do like an armchair cast of HGC games side by side. We'll have the stream up. We'll be talking about the drafts, about the plays. Thinking, we know better than the players, right? Just like everybody does with their favorite football team. It's called Armchair HGC. We do it. I try to do it every weekend. But yeah, it's pretty much it.
Pretty much it. That's quite a lot that you're doing here on HOTS. I mean, I've caught some of your Armchair HGC too, and it's a great time if you do want to check that out. Goon does it with Bags too, who's another great armchair type analyst as well when it comes to the HGC. And there's few people that know as much about as HGC as Goon and Bags, and obviously like LiQuiud too, who's often on the show too.
Yeah, Bags, my boy.
Yeah.
Miss you, bro.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So let's start getting into the show here. So before we do, though, we always want to thank our patrons over at patreon.com/trollsgg. And we actually had a new patron this week. We want to give a little shout out to Chris D. Thanks for becoming a patron of the show. And because you did, you actually helped us surpass a patron goal. We now have well, I say have to do, but we want to do. So we're now going to be doing after show games after every Nexus Trolls and after every Trolling HGC podcast. So what we'll end up doing is after the show's done, we'll go to the kind of like the closing out screen. Then we'll pop back on. We'll maybe chat with Chad a little bit, and then we'll pop in a game and we can stream some games too. So hang around after the shows. Again, we do these at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesdays. If you're not catching this live, feel free to pop in around 9 p.m. or so and join us in game. To get in the game with us, just /join TrollsGG in game, and we'll see you there. We also have a Troll of the Week this week, and it's Yitboss, the Team 12 manager. And I've got a little story too about Yitboss. The first time I met Yitboss, it was in the chat room of Troll and HGC. He was watching Trent Murray and LiQuid and Bags do a show, and I was moderating chat. And he was saying some snarky things. I had no idea who this Yitboss guy was. So I threw down the ban hammer pretty quickly. And LiQuid and Trent weren't too happy that I banned the manager of Team 12, like a higher profile person in the chat. But anyways, I apologize. We got that rectified and everything. He had a good laugh over it. But either way, Yitboss has been watching Troll and HGC in particular quite a bit. You often find him in chat. He's actually on our Discord server as well these days. But anyways, thanks, Yitboss, for being a fan of the show, being a fan of our network, and you are officially our Troll of the Week. So let's jump into the news.
Someday, this will make a great story.
So the much hyped Bush League is just a few days away. If you haven't heard of Bush League, it's a beer league that we're putting on with Gankbush Squad and Nexus Commentaries. We're having a whole bunch of listeners who signed up play with the hosts from the different shows, and we're doing it in like a really casual beer league format. We've set the teams and everything's full up. We are not expanding to 6 teams like we said we might. We're going to keep it at 4 teams for this season. But if you're interested, you can definitely sign up so you can kind of keep updated with, if there's a spot that opens up, or for next season too. You can do that over at trolls.gg/bush-league. You can also check out all the other stuff other than signups there too. We'll have schedules, streams, all that kind of stuff. The VODs will all be up there. And week 2, we've got casters every week. First week is Stixa, but second week, I can't remember who it is, Goon. Do you remember who's casting our second week of games?
Some goon. Some goon. I don't know. I think he plays hats sometimes.
Yeah, so Goon's gonna be casting some of our games. He's gonna be doing, I think, week 2 and then every third week after that. It's just a 9-week season, so it'll be a few times and maybe the semis or the finals as well. So I'm looking forward to getting some games cast by you too. I think that should be pretty fun.
It's going to be a blast. It's going to be hilarious.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's going to be fun. There's a lot of great personalities there. And because it's casual, I'm expecting to see a lot of kind of cheesier comps come out. I really hope we see some like Cho'Galls and Murkies just to troll it up a little bit, to have some fun in some of those games. In some other news, too, if you check out the Heroes Forge podcast, which airs on Sundays, you can check that out over at heroesforge.club. I actually guested on it last week, and it was the most fun I've ever had on a podcast. Sorry, Mystic. It was so much fun. Heroes Forge, if you haven't listened to it or seen it before, definitely check it out. It's such a unique podcast. What they do is they take a new like character from like the WoW or StarCraft or any kind of Blizzard property that isn't in the game yet, and they craft a kit, craft a backstory for it, and imagine what it'd be like to put it in the game. And Jeff Reynolds and Kristen are the ones that Kristen Ashton are the ones that host it, and it's so amazing. They're such high energy, fun people to listen to, and very creative. Definitely check it out. We crafted the Goblin Zeppelin from Warcraft 2 and 3. So that was you talk about mobility creep. Oh man, so you should have heard some of our kits coming out of the Goblin Zeppelins. But yeah, it was a fun time. So check it out. Fenix patch is now live. Got a Fenix, obviously, a Varian rework and a Tracer rework. Li Li's getting a little bit stronger too, but we'll talk about some of those when we troll the Nexus a little bit later in the show. We've got a PvE brawl. Goon, do you ever do the brawls, by the way?
I do. I enjoy them. It's a good way to break up, some of the salt from Hero League, or some of the work you're doing in scrims. It's fun. I like it.
It's my guilty
pleasure. This one sounds interesting.
Yeah, this one's a PvE brawl, like the escape from whatever it was called, the one where you had like to get out of that kind of Zerg infested outpost. This one sounds like it's gonna be similar, but it's gonna be more of like a defense style PV brawl where you just have Zerg wave after Zerg wave, and you've got
That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I know Mystic's gonna like this too.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely playing this one.
Yeah, you're gonna be defending against these Zerg waves, waiting for I think more or less your evac or whatever it is to come. So it sounds pretty cool. And I also noticed in the blog post about it, they said this is the normal mode, which makes us think that probably the week after this we're gonna get a hard mode.
Yes,
well.
yes.
I really hope that you can like finish early and have like speed running like there was a lot of competitive speed running on the past one, but this one I'm not sure if it's just like you just have to survive to a certain amount of time, so I don't know what the competition would be in hard other than just passing it.
Yeah,
but I'm interested to see what people make of it.
I would like to see them have just like see how long you can last infinite waves, and then each wave just gets harder and harder, and see how far you can go with the comp that you made. That'd be insane.
That'd be amazing. You get to the time where it's like time 0 and they're like, uh-oh, she's not coming. You guys just got to survive. Surprise twist awesome. Ending, right? But Mystic, this has got your name all over it, bud. Is this going to bring up memories of StarCraft?
Once I saw this, I was like, I am definitely playing this brawl. You know, I'm usually not a brawl person, but this one just looks really fun. And it's StarCraft themed, so, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, lots of blaze bunkers, hammers. It's gonna be sick. It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be nice. Fun. I know there was a lot of positive feedback from the last PvE brawl, so that's obviously why they're doing this. So I expect this to be a more regular thing, and probably very StarCraft themed.
Yeah, StarCraft best PvE modes. I mean, seriously, it reminds me of that one mission from I'm going back here, guys. It was StarCraft, the first StarCraft. I think it was like the 3rd mission or 4th mission where you have to like defend your base for like 30 minutes while all these Zerglings are just invading. Whatever. Anyways, it's gonna be a callback, and it's gonna be good. It's gonna be fun.
Yep, and I cannot wait for it. So that should be starting up on Friday, and it'll go for the duration of a week. We also have a PAX East panel coming up from Blizzard, which is kind of cool because they've given us some information about it. First off, we're expecting a hero reveal. I don't know where the source of that information came from, but it sounds like it's pretty consistently being reported on that we should be getting a hero reveal at PAX East. There's going to be a lot of lore discussion, which is also interesting too. They said that, and this is coming from Blizzard, they're going to start to tie in the heroes lore with the Blizzard Universe lore. Do you guys have any idea how that might be possible?
I think they're just kind of going to use what the community has already created, where, hey, this person's dead, but they showed up in the Nexus, so it's kind of like the Valhalla of, you know, the Blizzard universe.
It's kind of
at BlizzCon, didn't they kind of like, I guess, hint towards something was going on lore-wise? You know, when they revealed Hanzo and Alexstrasza, they're like, oh, there's something even bigger stirring in the Nexus. He kind of like they kind of just they would throw that around at all the panels and on stage and stuff like that. So I wonder if this has something to do with what they were talking about at BlizzCon. But I don't know.
Maybe even
I'm excited.
We might have a place here for some sort of campaign. Maybe we've got a lot of PvE brawls coming in. If we get more story and lore, maybe they can even bake this into the tutorial, right? You can have almost like this, like, I mean, StarCraft's got it, and same with Warcraft, like the old Warcraft RTSs. They don't just jump you into like having every unit, right? They slowly build on knowledge. So maybe they'll eventually come out with this kind of campaign mode where it builds on knowledge, and eventually you gotta learn to like stutter step or take off that locked camera or whatever, and like learn to show up to objectives on time. Don't take the boss after you get the curse. A lot of things.
Don't
like
first
that.
pick Nova.
Yeah, exactly. They'll be like, no, hero, you don't want to take Nova. You'll get flamed by the rest of your team. That's my Uther voice.
I want to have Uther say that or something.
Yeah.
He's like voicing over the new tutorial. He's like, no, you don't want to pick Nova.
Yes, please pick a different hero. Okay, so I mean that'll be cool. I can't wait to see what we're going to see at PAX East. It's, by the way, I haven't said the date yet. It's April the 5th. 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if I did my time zone calculation correctly, and they are streaming on Twitch, which lends more credence to the thought that they're probably doing some sort of reveal or a lot of important information and announcements. PAX East is a pretty important convention, so it's not surprising they have released things at PAX in the past.
Who do you guys think is the hero they're gonna announce? Any ideas or anything you guys want?
Oh God, I can tell you
The
what.
only, the only speculation that I have is that I think it's supposed to be some sort of wacky hero or like some very unconventional hero. So other than that, I have no idea.
Yeah, one thing that usually when you hear there's like that smoke, usually you get fired, except for when you hear Deathwing's coming soon. But
Yeah.
one thing that seems to be getting a little bit more momentum is that Imperius is more like feeling like it's got to be coming soon because he is one of the glaring omissions, at least from the Diablo universe. It's kind of similar to how everyone was like, well, if we get a new StarCraft character, it's going to be Fenix because he's the big one that's still missing from the storyline. But I could see, maybe not now, but soon, Imperius coming at least sometime this calendar year, maybe even as a BlizzCon hero.
I'm sticking with Deckard Cain.
He definitely fit the bill for a wacky hero.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what is he gonna do? Who knows? Like, what is his heroic? Does he put everybody to sleep with his stories, or what's gonna happen? They said wacky, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's probably as wacky as it can get.
Yeah, and like the cool thing about Deckard Cain is there's so many different ways you could bring him in, and you can't just bring him in the conventional way. He's not going to be sitting there throwing flame strikes at people. Like, that's the guy is like 102. Like he can't just like his trait is like 50% move speed. Come on, you got to come up with something clever there, right? Okay, so let's get into the main segment of the show. We're going to start trolling the Nexus now. So for those of you that don't know, this is a very Pardon the Interruption style bit. That's a popular ESPN show where we've got 5 minutes for every topic that we're going through here. Once the 5 minutes is up, we move on to the next topic. So just going through the topics we have today, we've got Getting Pwned by Fenix, Yoda's Safe Fenix build, Goons' Not So Safe Fenix build, Is Varian Good, Ishbu's Varian, Banworthy Li Li, and then finally, Getting Good in Hero League. So we're going to start off with the first topic on the list, and that is Getting Pwned by Fenix. So I'll quickly go over his kit a little bit, and then we'll talk about him and discuss him with the time we have left. So Fenix, he's obviously the StarCraft character who's coming. He's a Dragoon. We kind of talked about him a bit about him last week. His trait is Shield Capacitor. He's got 800 permanent shield, which actually regenerate after not taking damage for 5 seconds. So he's got that crazy self-sustain. On his Q, he's got Plasma Cutter. It's on a 12-second cooldown. He creates his laser beam that travels in a circle around Fenix twice. You can change the radius based on where you the cast location. It deals a small amount of damage, but probably more importantly, it slows enemies by 25% for 4 seconds. On his W, he can actually toggle W to switch between auto attack modes. He's got Repeater Cannon and Phase Bomb. Phase Bomb gives you a 1.5 increase in auto attack range, putting it up to 6.5, and 25% more damage, and it gives a splash. The splash, I think, is a radius of 3, which is the same as Medivh's explosion around a circle of protection. I don't know why I came up with that like obscure reference, but anyways, his Repeater Cannon, the other AA mode, is he increases his attack speed by 150%. His E is his escape or movement ability called Warp. It's on an 18-second cooldown. You can warp to target location after a half-second channel, and then 0.5 seconds afterwards, there's a warp animation and you arrive in the location. So there's 0.25 seconds you're actually off the battlefield, which is kind of cool. His 2 ultimates are Purification Salvo, which is on 75-second cooldown. You channel a sweep for 1.5 seconds. You kind of like scan everyone in the radius there. Anyone scanned by it, any hero scanned by it, will receive 5 missiles battering them for 86 damage each, and that's 50% bonus damage as well to slowed targets. And then finally, his final ultimate is Planet Cracker, 100-second cooldown, so a little bit longer than Purification Salvo. It's 0.5 second channel, and you get this ridiculously, like, amazingly animated beam that shoots across the whole battlefield, unlimited range for 4 seconds, dealing 105 damage every quarter second to non-structured enemies. So, Goon, since you weren't here last week, I'd like to hear what you have to say about Fenix. I started the timer over again because I feel like 3 minutes of talking about the kit probably doesn't count as discussion.
Fenix. OP. Nah, I don't know if he's OP. I wouldn't say he's OP. He's very strong. He's very strong. He's got a lot of tools that you want in an ranged hero and in a DPS slot. He's got good damage, pretty decent mobility. He's got his own sustain, which is different than sustain that we're used to with his shields. And he's got really good wave clear. Very good wave clear, very cost-effective wave clear. He's got no mana. I think this guy coming out the gate is going to be highly contested in both Hero League, casual play, and competitive. He's super well designed. He's got everything that you need. He doesn't seem very one-dimensional, which I like. So
60% win rate in hot slogs. If that doesn't scream OP, I don't know what does.
Whoa. Well designed. He has everything. What doesn't he have, though? What are his weaknesses here? I'm curious.
Varian's shield breaker, I guess. It's crazy because he's so tanky. He's officially, that if you include his shields, which you should because it's a health pool essentially, he's the tankiest ranged assassin, even ahead of someone like Tychus. And he has that self-sustain because he regenerates a shield. If you don't get him below, quote unquote 50% health or whatever it is, he can just leave the fight for a few seconds, come back in. Well, I say a few seconds, but more like 10. Come back in, and he's got all of his health back again. He's not as much of a burden on your healers too, because he does regenerate that. Of course, if he does lose his shield, he can't heal that back up as a healer. So I guess that is a bit of a deficiency. If you keep him with no shields and you are constantly poking him to make sure you can't reactivate his shields, then I guess that's a bit of a weakness. I don't know, Mystic, what do you think?
I was looking at this hero and I was like, okay, it seems pretty good. Seems pretty broken. All right, how do we counter this guy? Well, he has a few counters from what I saw, and that is a lot of displacement, stun, CC, just like in a chain. But I mean, that kind of counters any hero, right? The only hard counter that I saw was Varian's shield breaker, and then I was thinking, okay, so what can he do? Like, what is his role here? Well, he's a ranged DPS. He can also solo lane. He's tanky enough for it. He has the sustain from his shield for it. He also has the sustain by being, manaless for it. He's also ranged. What's his weakness in a solo lane anyway? And I'm going to say, I can't really think of one unless it was literally 2v1ing him or clearing it faster than he can clear, or pushing it faster than he can clear. So, which
is hard because his wave clear is so good.
Is there a counter him? Is there any hero that can keep up with him in the solo lane, or is he now the new old Malthael, where you just can't deal with him no matter what hero you pick in the solo lane?
Personally, I don't see any hero that can actually solo lane better than him at the moment. So I might be wrong. I kind of want to be proven wrong. I want there to be some contention, but I don't really see it right now, and so that makes me a little worried.
I've seen and had some frustrations with Lunara. Her damage over time doesn't allow you to regenerate your shield until it's all gone. So that is something you could probably play around with. I just found it annoying. I don't know if she just outright dumpsters him, if it's a skill matchup. It was just something that I noticed in a couple of games where I was like, this is actually interesting.
Something that I also noticed, which I thought to be very broken, was that you guys know how Li Ming can blink. If you time it very, very correctly, pinpoint timing, you can immune your iframe yourself out of Pyroblast, right?
Pulse bombs. I've dodged pulse bombs with that.
Warp on Fenix is the same thing, but it's much more forgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's one of the uniquer talents in the game because you can actually leave the battlefield. So there's no effects that can be on you while you're gone for that 0.25 seconds or wherever that window is. So yeah, I like the pulse bomb is an amazing situation where you just warp out, it leaves the pulse bomb where you left, or it's kind of like a cleanse too, right? It just takes off pretty much anything. I'm not sure, does it take off poison effects too when you warp out?
I'm not 100% sure.
I think it does. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't remember. I just remember not having a shield. You know it.
Yes, and that is the most annoying thing as Fenix, if you can't replenish that shield on time. Okay, next topic. We are talking about Yoda has a safe Fenix build. And I say safe because Goon's got his own build too. That's the not so safe build that we're going to be talking about afterwards. So just going over what this safe build of Yoda's is, we've got it linked in the show notes if you want to check it out. But basically, he stresses having a poke Fenix. So you're basically doing damage from a distance and getting as much damage out of that phase bomb as possible. So at level 1, he takes mobile offense, which gives you 30% extra attack power as long as you're stutter stepping. At level 4, he takes emergency protocol, which when shield capacitor shield become depleted, you gain 30% movement speed for 5 seconds. At level 7, he takes divert power weapons, which you activate it instantly as an activatable to drain your shield capacitor shield completely, but then you get bonus damage which is equivalent to 80% of the shield drain for 5 seconds. So big power boost by sacrificing your shield. At his ultimate, he goes for his Planet Cracker. I don't know necessarily about that one, but then he goes auxiliary shields at 13. Auxiliary shields is where you permanently reduce Fenix's maximum health by 10%, but you also increase capacitor shields by 20%. And basic attacks regen shields equal to 20% of the damage dealt, giving you a little extra sustain there. You get photonic weaponry at level 16, where Fenix deals 15% more damage when he has a shield from shield capacitor. And then finally, at level 20, singularity charge, where repeater cannon grants 200% more attack speed, and phase bomb grants 2.5 more range, which puts it up to 7.5. So, Goon, you're the one who put me onto this build, so why don't you talk about it a little bit and say why you think this is effective and why, you know, a pro like Yoda is pointing this out as a good build to go.
So there are a couple things I would change here, but overall, I like this stutter stepping. You get instant 30% bonus, instant value at level 1 all the way to level 20, or whenever the game ends. You have value out of that talent. You're staying mobile. You're doing good consistent poke. You're moving around. You're a lot harder to hit. The emergency protocol, I like that talent a lot because you can. It synergizes with level 7, but also if you take too much damage and you lose your shields and your warp's on cooldown and you need to get away, you have that extra added mobility to create that space between you and your opponent. With the divert power weapons, you can sacrifice your shield and really run people down if you wanted to with the stutter stepping and really punish that, keep up with them, set body blocks, whatever. The Planet Cracker, I don't know about that one. I'm more of a oh my gosh, I want to say scanner sweep. That's not it. It's called Purification Salvo, I think is what it's called. And the auxiliary shields, you're sacrificing 10% of your max health for a 20% increase in shield capacity. From what I understand, that actually does not synergize with your divert power weapons. There's a max cap, scaling cap that happens there, or something like that, where the damage doesn't increase past a certain point. But and then photonic weaponry, I'm trying to remember which one was that one again?
Photonic weaponry is we get 15% bonus damage as long as you've got a shield active.
Yeah, that one is a little, for me, that's a little weird because if you're looking to sacrifice your shields,
but
for extra damage.
You know what though? Like if you look at the talents you take here, you can sacrifice your shields, but then on level 13 with the auxiliary shields, every time you do an auto attack, you're gonna get a tiny piece of shield back. That counts. That procs it, right? So
that's true. Yeah,
I saw that as being like the cool synergy there. You can sacrifice all your shields, get that bonus damage, then you can get a little bit of shield back to proc your photonic weaponry, which is that bonus damage at 16, and also that bonus damage you're getting more shield back to, giving you more survivability. So I thought that was a very clever path to take, and that's what I saw from there. But yeah, you can definitely tell that Yoda's like, you got to hit him from a long distance. And when I saw Fenix, I was like, okay, it's not his phase bomb that's powerful. It's his repeater cannon, because you're hitting that constantly. You can do a lot of DPS, some of the highest DPS in the game. But that phase bomb in like a clustered team, you can get a lot of damage. And if you do the math too, you get more value out of phase bomb, even though it's slower, if you hit more than 2 targets at a time. So if you're hitting 3 heroes with phase bomb, you're getting more value out of that than doing single target damage. Obviously, single target's targeted damage, so it's maybe a little bit more valuable. But still, that this is his like poke sustain build, I guess.
Right. Yeah, the singularity charge is pretty insane, honestly. You get a range increase and attack speed increase. That means you're getting more shields back if you win auxiliary shields faster, dealing more damage as well. That's a pretty... I think all of his level 20s are pretty good, but that one, to me, is just, like, pretty insane.
So Mystic, this must make you cry a little inside, because last week we were talking about his laser circle talents and how you like taking those, but I don't see any on this list.
Well, here's the thing. Between PTR and live, it got nerfed. So it's not as appealing, but I still think, like, you don't have to take mobile offensive for it to be useful. You can take the targeting circle talent and still get about the same damage, if not more, like at later levels than mobile offense. You just, make sure everything else is the same as Yoda's build, and then you just take the targeting one at level 1. It still gives you attack damage, actually.
Well, the one bad thing about mobile offense is it's only 30% bonus damage to heroes. Whereas if you take the advanced targeting, where it's kind of like your season's marksman type stacking talent on your auto attacks, but you got to hit your Qs on heroes, that actually applies extra damage to any target. So it may not be as instantly gratifying or easy to get as diverting power. As mobile offense is 30% from stutter stepping, but it has value in all places of the game. Okay. Running down the clock, we got 3 seconds left, so I guess we might as well just move on to the next
Job's
one
done
here. Goons, not so safe Fenix build. So there's a safe way to play Fenix, which is standing back and poking the hell out of people. There's a more dangerous way to do it, and I've tried doing like his warp to engage and doing damage that way, and it's a risky endeavor. So, Goon, do you want to take us through your build here? Tell us why you picked all these crazy talents and why you think it might have a place somewhere, hopefully?
Oh, I don't know if it has a place or if it's viable, but it's a hell of a lot of fun to be able to pull off. Level 1, I go with the mobile offense. Again, I like having that value, being able to attack a hero, get instant value, have consistent value throughout the course of a match, extra bonus damage. I like the warp conduit at level 4. Hero takedowns reset your warp's cooldown, so you kind of act like a Li Ming. Well, I don't say you act like a Li Ming here, but you get a reset on your teleport, an instant reset. So you could be chunking somebody down. You see that opportunity, you make that aggressive warp. You stutter step, you get that extra bonus damage, you get the kill, you can warp right back out. Instant cooldown. Warp Warfare, after arriving with warp, you get 125% attack speed for 4 seconds while in repeater cannon mode. This is a very repeater cannon oriented style of play. You warp on the other side, you get 4 seconds of increased attack speed, blah, 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 blah. Knock them down, teleport back out. You can also go with Purification. This just gets better as the game goes on. You get Purification Salvo. You can get in there, get a scanner sweep, get a bunch of damage on everybody, kill a bunch of people, or kill somebody, be able to warp, move further ahead on your opponent, maybe try to body block and get another pick, and then keep snowballing from there. The Adanium Shell gives you more survivability as you're warping in or away from fights. You get 40% armor for 4 seconds after warping. And then at level 16, I like the Battle Momentum Arsenal Overcharge. Fenix basic attacks reduces ability cooldowns by half a second. The reason I like this is you have increased attack speed warping in. Let's say you don't get that kill right away. You've done enough damage, enough battle momentum to be able to get warp soon, right? So if you don't get the kill, you'll have it up sooner than if you just jumped in, didn't get the kill, and potentially get blown up or something. And at level 20, I thought about it here. I like, just for general safety purposes, the Unconquered Spirit. If you do go in, you don't get that cooldown reduction, or you don't get that kill in time, but you take fatal damage, you get you regain a burst of shield, kind of like a Johanna indestructible type thing. And in that time that you have that shield, and some HP, you can try to get a kill and then get out. It's a lot of fun. I'm not saying it's the best, but try it out. Try it out.
This screams late game to me. Is that what you're thinking too? Because you get those survivability talents at 13 and 20, and like if you get prior to 13 and 20, like if you go in and you've made a bad decision, it might be tough to get out.
I don't know if it's necessarily late game. I think it keeps up with all the other heroes in the game 1 through 20, right? Because like 1 through 7, nobody has their ulti yet unless you're chroming, right? So you're still safe.
Or Varian.
So everything's okay. Varian. Well, I mean, is that a heroic though? I don't know. Or is that a? We could talk about this some other time. Anyways,
in about 2 minutes.
Yeah. But yeah, you keep up, with the pace of the game. You kind of keep up with everybody, and as everybody else gets stronger, you're becoming more. You have more defensive options, so you're mitigating a lot of the damage, mitigating a lot of those risks potentially as the game goes on, as everybody else is getting stronger. That's my logic behind it, anyways.
So Mystic, I've seen you play some fairly high-level Genji. Do you think you might be switching over to Fenix?
I mean, if you compare Fenix, who's like really broken right now, in my opinion, to Genji, who's been nerfed into, just like he's been nerfed really, really hard. I think Fenix has more of a place in like just damage wise, but I still believe Genji is the like better reset hero. So
Oh yeah.
Genji is like the reset hero, and then Fenix just outclasses him in damage in like every other aspect. Tankiness, damage, all that stuff.
That damage from Fenix is very punishing to a Genji that gets a little too close.
Yeah, it is. Especially if you use the purification salvo, right? Where you can just lock onto him and you're just like, well, I mean, you can Swift Strike away, but this is still going to hit you no matter what.
Yeah.
Unless...
X Strike, by the way.
Oh, yeah, there you go. X Strike.
So in the after show games Mystic today, we're going to have to see you do this warp build on Fenix, see if you can get some value out of it. So what heroes would synergize well with Fenix? We haven't talked about that too much. Obviously, slows help out for his ultimate for purification salvo, and as well as some of his talent choices if you decide to take those. But are there any other heroes here, like other than maybe like a Thrall, Arthas, Rhaegar, any of those like slowing heroes that might help?
Heroes that slow,
Job's done.
And also heroes that give him armor, because his shields gain value from armor, so it's really good.
Yeah, I heard some pros tweeting out about Tastar Fenix being broken.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Pros can break anything with Tassadar, basically.
Well, there are some talents that you used to take on Tassadar that now that Fenix is in the game, you don't need to take anymore.
We'll have to do a whole show on that.
Yeah, job's done, guys. No more secrets.
Yeah. Okay. Next on the list is Varian Good. I've seen a lot of discussion about this on both sides of the coin recently. He's actually down on hot logs last time I checked, a few percent, just below 50%, which would indicate, well, hey, maybe he's, maybe this was a nerf that he got. But then you hear some people, and we're going to talk about Ishbu's Varian build in a bit, but Ishbu was saying, hey, I've been playing him in Hero League, and I think he's broken. So this has led to quite a good little debate here, and I'm interested to see what you guys think. Is Varian good? Is he bad? Is he just good in spots, bad in spots? Goon, let's start with you. Are you going to be telling your Open Division team to start taking Varian as soon as he's available?
I don't know. I went on this little rant yesterday on stream about Varian and how much I hated the hero and his design and all of his flaws. People are like, oh, taunt's so broken. It's at level 4. You can now taunt people and kill them. And my argument is, how is that any different than a power slide at level 1? I don't know. I mean, you tell me, right? But what I do like about Varian, and the more I've played around with him and seen other people play him, the more I'm starting to like what I see. And what I see is you've got this kind of juggernaut kind of a guy. It's funny. I say juggernaut because his HP got nerfed, but later on it's not so bad. You got this guy that charges into somebody, presses R, your whole team kills that person, the whole enemy team tries to kill Varian. He feels and seems like at this point like a true, like, World of Warcraft tank or something that just draws aggro, takes a bunch of abilities, and doesn't die for your team. And I think that in and of itself is pretty strong. That's pretty busted, because no one's trying to kill the backline of Varian's team. They're trying to kill Varian or save the person that just got taunted, unless there's some other weird drafting style that you've come up with. But I think he's pretty solid now. He's a lot more fun to play than before. He's no longer a parry bot. And you kind of have to have some knowledge of how to use your abilities and what they do to keep yourself alive in a lot of situations. You can't just spam W forever. So
what's your final consensus here? Is he better or worse?
I think he is better. I think he's better. Yeah.
Well,
by a little bit.
Let's see if Mystic agrees or disagrees with you. What do you think about Varian? Is he better or worse here, Mystic?
I think that he was very strong before these changes. And I think with these changes, the Smash variant has been nerfed heavily. Twin Blade variant has also been nerfed quite heavily. Taunt variant is the only one that's pretty viable right now. And I think, like, if you were to ask me, hey, is he stronger now or was he stronger back then? I think he was stronger back then because this is kind of a nerf. But he does feel better in where, because you get the taunt and stuff at level 4 instead of level 10, he can do stuff much earlier in the game. So he's only useless like levels 1 through 4, where people have called him like akin to a melee creep of 4/4. And yeah, he does feel a lot better though, because his Q now heals him. So it feels better than just throwing it out, doing a little bit of damage and going, well, they're slowed for like 5% for a couple seconds, but now it actually heals you, so that's pretty good. And then along with I don't know, the changes to the parry, I think it makes it so that other feels like, hey, he can no longer parry for like 12 seconds at a time, so there's a little counterplay there. And it also makes it so that if you're a better Varian player, you know when to time those parries instead of just spamming the W button and just living through like a lot of everything.
So is he the ultimate camel hump hero? And I mean, by that I mean like his power spike is in the middle of the game. He's got like a really low power level at the beginning, a power spike in the middle until 10, and it tapers off, I guess, a little bit. Is that what we're seeing with Varian, or still can you get value out of him late game? Because a lot of arguments for why Varian's good is because those levels 4 through 10 are so crucial to snowballing a game. So if you can snowball it before you get to 10, you can carry that through to victory. But is there no coming back from being down as Varian? Are you just that much weaker late game, or is there a place to have a comeback, or like does Varian get stronger later game than I'm expecting?
See, that's where I believe that Blizzard made the correct decision in this case by reworking him, is because if you're down those levels, even though you're not 10, like let's just say you're 8 to their 10, Varian still has his taunt now, like because he got it at level 4. So it makes it easier for Varian to come back in that sense. So from levels 4 through 10, because of that power spike at 4, it really helps him like come back more into the game.
What do you think, Goon? Is he just that mid game
hero? He gets pretty strong early. I think at level 10 it kind of goes down a little bit, 11, 12, and then 13 it flattens out, and then 16, 20 I think it just goes right back up again because of the banners and
job's done.
And the level 20 talent with the Glory to the Alliance, OP with that hero, insane.
Before I know we've had the jobs done counter here, but do you want to tell us about that level 20 talent? Because well, actually, no, that's an Ishbu's build, right? We can talk about it in the next segment here. So Ishbu's Varian. Ishbu, as I mentioned before, came out and said he thinks that Varian is broken, quote unquote, as fuck. You can put AF, but I think we all know what AF stands for. So
I thought it was just AF.
I know. He's broken AF, right?
Broken AF.
So our broken AF Varian, we've got the build that Ishbu posted on Twitter in the show notes here. Basically, at level 1, he takes Overpower. That's where when you parry a basic attack, Heroic Strike cooldown is refreshed. The next one is 30% more damage. Taunt at 4, Victory Rush at 7. So every 30 seconds, your next basic attack will heal you. But if you're near an enemy or monster when they die, the cooldown is reduced by 10 seconds. Warbringer at 10. Mortal Strike at 13, doing reduced healing on heroic strikes. Banner of Ironforge, that's just the resistance to nearby allies, 20% less damage. Glory to the Alliance at level 20. Banner now also increases health regen of all healing received for nearby allied heroes by 50%, and the cooldown is reduced by 20 seconds. So Goon, we'll take it back to you here. Tell me about Ishbu's build. Particularly, there's some interesting talent choices here, notably probably Overpower 1, Victory Rush 7, Warbringer at 10, and this Glory to the Alliance that you're telling me is pretty powerful at 20.
Yeah. So I think this is like a pretty generic. I think level 7 to Victory Rush can be swapped around depending on what you're up against. If you're not fighting in lanes a lot, maybe you get value out of the Q, the bonus healing on Q. But Overpower, I like Overpower just because that gives Varian that extra little bit of damage that he needs. His auto attacks, unless you go Colossal Smash, his auto attacks hit you like a wet noodle. It's insane how like little damage they do. A lot of the damage comes from that Overpower and or from the Heroic Strike. Overpower increases the damage of Heroic Strike by 30%, and Heroic Strike cooldown is reset for each auto attack that you parry. So you can probably get like 2. I don't know if you can get 3, but at least 2 Heroic Strikes off on somebody. And if you're taunting somebody that auto attacks pretty quickly or a lot, like I don't know, a Tracer, that's a lot of overpowers and that's a lot of damage that Tracer's going to take. It's pretty good. Taunt, I mean, it's good. Yeah, he gets health increase that he desperately needs, and he gets passive armor. The Warbringer, I think level 10 can be swapped depending on what kind of damage you're up against. If there's a lot of auto attack, yeah, go Warbringer. You can use the 2 charges of your parry and get a lot of Heroic Strikes off. If they have a lot of mage a lot of burst damage, maybe you go to the shield wall and just use your parry more strategically. I like the Mortal. I think Mortal Strike is pretty good in general. Every time your Heroic Strike goes off, the enemy takes 40% reduced healing for 4 seconds. That's pretty good against somebody that's trying to get saved by like an Uther Q or a Rhaegar heal or something like that. Banner of Ironforge, I feel, is the only talent to take. The armor, 20% armor for you and your allies in a radius as you're fighting, makes healing more effective, keeps people alive longer. And then with the Glory to the Alliance, you get the cooldown reduction, and then increased healing. So that's increased healing for you and all your allies. All the healing that Varian does for himself is increased. You get a couple Qs, or you hit a couple people with your Q, your health is gonna the whole health bar is gonna refill. That little Tyrande heal, that little worthless Tyrande heal that you have on your side is now like that much better, But I think this is a pretty solid build. It's pretty general. There's a lot of little things here and there that you could probably switch around, but I like it. I think it's not bad at all.
One interesting thing about Warbringer too is because now that you can use it towards allies, you can get some interesting interactions. I think we've all seen Varians do the spin around Nazimbo's zombie wall, or like some weird thing where you like zip around like a fort wall because Tracer blinks as you're charging towards her. But now you can take advantage of those weird little quirks. I think Ishbu was pointing that out, saying like, okay, Tracer can Q a couple times as you charge towards her, and you can basically get like a free escape with that, right? Because it's like
pretty good.
super monk charge. So the kind of neat little interactions there. But one thing I want to ask Mystic too is at level 1, like Overpower. You were telling me off camera before that you like High King's Quest more like these days. Maybe not more than Overpower, but you've been tending towards it. Like why would you take that over Overpower here?
Well, besides thematic reasons, right?
Job's done.
We got High King's Quest. I like to take that along with the second wind, so there's some synergy there. And it's like, if you take Victory Rush, things have to die, right? Like for you to heal at all, besides Varian's Q, right? With this, you have more control over your healing because you can auto attack stuff and hit stuff, and that actually gets you HP, whereas this, it's like you have to auto attack and things have to die. So that's why I like High King's Quest and Second Wind. I think it's called Second Wind. Yeah, over the Victory Rush.
I love for the Victory Rush. Was this? It used to always be minions, right? It never used to include monsters. So that little note in there, when a minion or monster dies, that's including the little monkeys on Infernal Shrine.
I'm assuming that is correct. Yeah.
Yep.
That's pretty insane, actually. Holy crap!
Another interesting little thing. I know we're out of time on this topic, but Overpower and Mortal Strike have a good little synergy there too, because you're getting more heroic strikes off. You're also reducing healing on your targets by 40% more frequently, so you can pretty much have 40% reduced healing on any on multiple targets almost indefinitely too, if you're using those two properly and you're taking damage. Okay, next on the list we've got Banworthy Li Li. So turns out Li Li somehow snuck through and is the top healer on Hot Slogs. Is she worth taking or banning? Or is she just still like mash your head on the keyboard, you can play a good Li Li? Let's start with you, Mystic. You got the ball.
I've always thought Li Li was strong, especially like after the healer nerf, and I'm just like, man, Li Li just like does so much stuff that I just don't want to be used against me. Thankfully, she wasn't, in the meta at that time, and I didn't really have to fight her. But now, since she's creeping up there and like everybody's picking Li Li, it's like, well, she's up there for a reason. It's because Blizzard like nerfed every other healer, and they didn't nerf Li Li. They're just like, hey, Li Li's kind of doing bad. Let's throw her a bone. And then Li Li's still not doing so good. Let's give her some more stuff. She's still not like #1 healer. Let's give her some more stuff. And then so this is like everybody's saying, wait a second, Li Li has been buffed for like the last like 5 patches or something. Let's pick her up and give her a go. And then suddenly, oh man, she's really strong.
It almost feels like Blizzard's got a formula where they're like, hey, this hero hasn't been meta for a while. We need to get them back up there. And then if they're up there for too long, they're like, oh no, they've had their time in the sun. Let's bring them back down again. I feel like Rhaegar's a good instance of that too. Like there's some times where he's OP, then he comes back down again, back up, back down. There's so many heroes that just do that from time to time. Thrall's another instance. Yeah. A recent one too. Is this just Li Li's time in the sun? Is this going to be going away with the next patch?
I don't think so. I think this is just like the meta, really. She's really strong, and I mean, maybe she could use a couple of nerfs, but I think honestly we should buff the healers a little bit more. And yeah, maybe Li Li could use a nerf or two, but I think that's neither here nor there. I think we should bring the other healers back up a little bit at least, not to like double healer meta levels, but like at least a little bit.
Well, about this level 1 talent that's been causing a lot of buzz too, the Wind Serpent at level 1. And sorry, let's see, what was the name of the one that got changed? Wind Serpent level 1. Instead of reducing the serpent's cooldown by enemies hit by Blinding Wind, it'll now reduce the cooldown passively for 2 seconds and cast a free Blinding Wind near the enemy target. So, like, that seems kind of neat. Like, is this buzzworthy? Is this the talent to take at level 1 now to get that extra blind out there?
I think along with that, it helps her with the range. Like she can just throw it on something that's further range than she is and get that blinding wind. So it's not the extra blind, but I guess it's the range aspect where she can slow someone or blind someone that's all really far away from her compared to as she has to run up and press the E button on stuff.
It's also more damage. It's a free blind. It's free blinding wind on a target. So like your twin blade Varian goes flying into the enemy team. Yeah, throw a little serpent on him. That's a little extra damage that Rhaegar just took from Li Li, and then you can also get up close enough and still throw another blinding wind and deal some more damage out. That's the aspect that I like about it is that extra damage coming out of Li Li. Is it the talent to take? I don't know. With that talent, she does have a lot of mana issues that the eager adventurer really helped solve.
So Li Li, the problem I've always had with Li Li is I personally never liked her untargeted healing. I find it very difficult to get someone out of a sticky situation, especially if there's multiple someones near me. You might have, someone who's out of the battle on one side of you who's low health, but then there's someone who needs your healing a lot more in the thick of things, and you have problems getting the heals to the person you want. Has this been addressed by changing how Jugs works? Because it's a lot easier to use Jugs just kind of in short bursts here and there now with the way they changed its cooldown that you can cancel it at any time. So is this no longer a weakness for Li Li, at least post 10?
Yeah, I think so. Being able to press R and then, wait a second or two before you start seeing the person's health bar that you need to heal go up, and then letting it go, and then having it back in 20, 30 seconds or whatever. I think that's pretty good. In unorganized play like Hero League and things like that, where also a lot of players have a hard time focusing the same targets, Li Li tends to get a lot of value because of how Jugs works, or whatever, or how her Q works. So somebody CC somebody,
Job's done.
Somebody misses an ability, or somebody else focuses somebody else. Jugs just gets infinite more value because of that. But that's how that. That's what I think, anyways.
Not to mention she's hard to kill because she can blind you. She runs away fast. Yeah. She's got a self-heal. I always, if I see her running away Li Li, I'm just like, don't bother. It's just a waste of time.
You know what? I'm out of here, yeah.
Even if we're going to secure a kill, it's going to take 20 seconds. The whole team will
She's probably just going to turn around and kill me anyways. Let me get out of here.
All right, the final topic for today is getting good, that's it with a U, in Hero League. So we've got on the show today a Masters player, Goon, who plays a lot of Hero League, or at least enough to get up to Masters. And Mystic, who's a resident, should be a Masters player, but doesn't play as much Hero League, plays a lot of Diamond. But either way, I'm sure you guys have a lot of tips on what you should be doing. Goon, maybe you can give Mystic some tips on how to get into Masters. We all know he deserves it, but he just doesn't put the grind in.
I don't have enough time.
But
that's the main fact.
In general, I guess there's two things here. It's really like, how can you improve as a player, but also how can you improve in a Hero League situation? So Goon, since you've had the honor of being a Masters player, why don't we talk to you about this first? If someone's stuck in Platinum or Diamond, assuming they've got the time to grind out, what would you tell them that they should be working on?
So first of all, I would say focus less on the rank and that little number and that circle there, and focus more on what can you do to be a better player, a smarter player, an in-game leader, things like that. What can you do to provide the tools necessary for yourself and your team to win the game? Because the objective is to win the game, right? A lot of people just bash their heads against the keyboard and against the wall until they get W's, and then all of a sudden they're in Diamond, but like they just feel like it wasn't rewarding at all. And that's probably because they don't look at the mistakes that they're doing, or go back and see what could I have done better? What call should I have made? What was on the map? What other value could I have gotten with this objective, or by giving up that objective? Focusing on improving yourself is probably going to be the best way in having a more positive Hero League experience, and focusing less on the rank. Yeah.
It sounds like a lot of what you're saying is team-oriented macro play as well, but I noticed one thing you didn't mention was mechanics. Is it the case where you've probably played a lot, your mechanics are at a certain level, there's not as much room for improvement there, your mechanics are as good as they're going to get, that you got to look elsewhere to improve?
Yeah. So for me, I don't have the mechanics of an 18-year-old that plays a game 20 hours a day, right? I just don't have that. So I use comms and map knowledge to my advantage, and understanding how the game flows, how the game is supposed to flow to guide my team to finding that victory. Effective communication in comms, using the comms as a tool effectively to help your team. So that means calling cooldowns, calling what you see on the map, calling what you don't see on the map. Hey, I don't see 4 other players oh, my Gazlo is halfway across the map. Maybe I should ping him or something to let him know that, somebody's coming. What else? Camp timings, objective timings. We know 30 seconds before an objective spawns when it's going to spawn. What are we doing with that 30 seconds of time? Are we just going to sit here and keep soaking? Or are we going to look to get in position? And knowing those things and understanding those things and having those conversations with your teammates in game will help your chances of success increase.
How about you, Mystic? I know you don't play a ton of Hero League, but just improving in general, like what are your traditional tips that you give people?
I think a lot of practice and improving happens outside of the game, in my opinion. Whereas you like think about all these things that you need to be doing, all these mistakes that you can rectify outside of the game, and then inside of the game you put it to practice, right? You have to, instead of just bashing your head against the wall, like Goon said, that you have to put it into practice and measure that up to like where you think you should be, and take that experience and then take it out of the game again, refine that, take it back into the game, and then see where you go from there. With that like kind of mentality, you can constantly improve your game after every single game, instead of just like, hey, I'm just going to go in and just grind Hero League and then get 50-50 and then end up back where I started, be sad that I'm not higher, and then just do that kind of stuff. So you have to what's the word here? Consciously work on improving rather than just grinding out games.
Yeah, deliberate practice is what I like to tell my guys. What are we doing here? What's the goal? What are we looking to achieve? And then how can we take that lesson, that improvement we made, and apply it into our actual game, or whatever the case may be. And
what do you guys think about having someone else go over your replays, whether it be like a friend who's either better than you or even at the same level, or even going doing paid for coaching? There's a lot of people that do paid for coaching out there too. Are those good outlets to improve yourself as well?
I think if it depends on the person, right? Because if you just ask your friend that's never played, before, you're like, hey, what do you think? Then they might not give you, like any information that you kind of need. But there's a difference between like, just information and information that you need, right? So if you ask like a pro player and they say, okay, here's how you can improve, right? And if you think about, okay, so what can I take from this actually? Like he's telling me to do this, this, and this, but that your mechanics aren't good enough to do that. You can either work on your execution or take the other pieces that that will work for you and that you can do, implement them into your play, and then that will help you get better. And then when you get to the place where you can execute that, then implement those into your play as well.
Definitely. This guy gets it. No. What I like to do, there's one thing to tell somebody what they need to be doing, and teaching somebody, helping them understand why they should be doing things, or to develop that thought process for themselves. You can tell somebody how to play. Okay, I want to use StarCraft as an example. There was a time, you just go online, you look at a build order, you look at a timing, and you practice this mechanic, and then you get to a certain point, and then you win the game based off the build order and stuff like that. But then you hit a wall, because then you don't understand you don't understand why you're doing it. You don't understand what the enemy's doing. You don't see the things that they're doing and how that might affect you. If you just take a step back, think about, what could possibly happen here. If I do this, what won't happen, or what would happen if I do this, and think critically of those situations. You'll be able to develop a more a deep understanding and be more effective in your games. Every game that you play is different than the last game you played. So you might see a situation one time, you don't know what to do, you're at a loss. You go back, you watch it with somebody, and you ask them, what do you think? You have a conversation, you have a dialogue. Maybe we do this, maybe we do that, and then you guys come to a consensus. Okay, maybe we should have done this. 200 games from now, it might not 200 games later, it might not happen. But that 201st game, you'll see that situation happen, and you remember, I had that conversation, I had that experience. I need to execute. It's already said and done. I know what I need to do. Boom, it's done, and then you come out on top. That takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of grinding. But if you learned from one mistake and you've applied it somewhere else and we're successful, hey, that's a win. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. That's what I tell everybody. But
there's a good reason that a lot of pro sports teams spend so much time analyzing tape. You know, it's not just because they like watching themselves. It's to try and analyze those experiences and figure out where they can improve. Okay, moving on to the final segment of the show, Mystic's Shakedown.
Mystic, I require service of you. I come to you as a friend, asking you to shake down this situation for me.
So, Mystic, shake down the situation for me.
Okay, so my topic for this week, as it was last week, but we cut that off because we ran out of time.
Not bitter or anything.
Is goals and checkpoints, right? So the goal of the game is to destroy the enemy's core, right? And here we have the checkpoints where we got like the forts, the keeps, and then like the objectives. So we can take Infernal Shrines as an example, right? So you always want to be working towards some sort of checkpoint or the overall goal, right? So if you go in, let's just say your team destroys their keep, okay? And so you have catapult spawning in that lane, but your entire team stays there. And they're like, all right, we're staying here, and we're just like trying to get kills or something. What are you actually accomplishing? Well, if you have a few heroes with stacking quests, you may be accomplishing something. But usually what is the case is that everybody is just feeling good. They destroyed the keep and they just want more kills, but you're not actually accomplishing much there. So the team staying there is actually losing out on the rest of the map, where they're losing out on soak, or they're losing out on time they could have been doing camps or getting other objectives. And so what needs to happen then is like the team needs to be directed towards another like checkpoint or the goal itself, right? The core. So you always want to be doing something, whether it's taking a keep, soaking. If you can get a kill, that's great. The rubber banding on the EXP is like really good, especially if you're behind, you get a kill. You could use a couple ultimates for it. It's all good. You get more EXP, but you always want to be working towards something. I know it's a game. Everybody likes to have fun. That's all well and good. If you want to like improve at the game, this is something that you want to kind of see, because if you're just sitting there, just getting kills, it may be fun, but is it actually winning you the game? Maybe not. Like most likely not, because you're not actually getting something, right? They're just going to keep spawning, and they're eventually going to push you off because their fountain or their Hall of the Storm is really close and yours is not. So
interesting. I mean, I think we've all been there before, where we overstay our welcome after killing a keep, because that's such a good feeling, right? And you feel like you got to do some more push or whatever, but I mean, everyone just bailing as soon as the keep's going to go down. It might not even be dead yet, but it's going to fall to minions. That might be the best time to leave, and I think that's a big takeaway that I've been guilty of not doing in the past. Do you guys think you
get that 5-minute keep, and then you lose in 8 minutes, and you're like, what the heck happened?
You wipe your team, and things can change quickly. Do you guys think you could win a game without securing a single kill? Because Mystic brought up an interesting point. Like, sometimes kills can be good, but they're not necessary for winning the game. Like, there's nothing in the game that says you must kill them X number of times in order to win. At least not yet. So, do you think you can win a game without killing anybody just by inserting your dominance over the map?
There are games that are like that, but not like exactly zero kill. Because if you imagine like this game, for example, on one side you have a team that's like very good at team fighting, right? And they have like, I don't know, Varian, KT, I don't know, freaking a bunch of other like very good team fighting heroes, right? And on the other side you have like freaking Murky, Asmodan, and then some other heroes that are good at de-pushing, like Gul'dan or something, right? So what eventually happens is that what can happen is that they de-push you while their demon general or like other specialists are pushing across the map, right? And so you go to defend, but then when your team is spread out kind of thin, then they either pick you off or just keep up the push. And what happens then is that your push is not as good as theirs, so they just eventually push you in at their core, at your core. And so if the objectives don't take you out, the only like escape route for the team that has good team fighting is they wait until the entire enemy team is at your core, wipe them, and then you have a chance to strike at their core. But that situation is like very hard to pull off, especially when the enemy team has kind of cornered you because of their specialists that outpush like every single one of your heroes.
That's why Asmodan was so popular in Hero League for a while, because there's a bunch of brawling, nobody really dying, a bunch of crazy stuff happening, and then meanwhile, it's a general pushing down the lane, you know, taking your keep, and you're like, how are we losing? I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough to like, especially in the lower leagues, to be able to respond to like that heavy lane push. But I like to point out that you heard it here first. Mystic supports 5 specialist meta. Just push, never fight, and eventually you'll just win it at the core. And if they can't wipe you at core, you're gonna win.
I was worried that the meta would become like that at one point, but I'm glad it didn't.
Yeah, I imagine if that ever started being the trend, Blizzard would act very swiftly to nerf all specialists like they did with the supports. I mean, it took them a while to nerf supports when we had the dual support meta, but if we started saying, hey, these specialists are just way too OP, let's take 5 of them in every game and just insta-win, yeah, that's not something Blizzard would like very much, I don't think. All right, well, I think we're going to wrap this show up there. But before we do, I need to ask Goon what conditioner you use, because that hair looks silky smooth, my friend.
Oh, you like this? It's this product that I use that I have. It's called Genetics. Helps me out a lot.
Yes, genetics has not been helping me. You see, when I grow my hair long, it gets curly, kind of like yours, but scraggly curly. I look like kind of like a homeless man. So I've got this certain length. I've got to make sure I cut it off before it gets to that point, and people start giving me strange looks in the street.
This is the longest I've had my hair in my life. I was in the military for 8 years, and I got out a couple years ago and let it grow out, and this is where I'm at right now. So we're gonna keep going, see what happens.
You gotta grow that down to your knees, and we'll see how great it's looking then too. I can't wait. Okay, so before we continue talking about Goon's fabulous hair, let's actually sign off for the show for the day. I want to thank our chieftain, Super Dave, for pledging his support to the trolls. If you'd like to be a chieftain just like Super Dave, you can head over to patreon.com and pledge enough to get past the chieftain threshold. And if you do so, we'll credit you at the end of every show, not only the Nexus Trolls, but also Troll and HGC. Thanks, everybody, for listening to the Nexus Trolls, Here's the Storm podcast, which we stream live on this Twitch channel, twitch.tv/TrollsGG, every week on Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific. Goon, if people are interested in checking out more about what you do on the internet, how can they do that? Where can they follow you? Where can they find you?
Yeah, you can follow me. Look me up at twitter.com/GoonHots, at GoonHots, GOON Hots, and twitch.tv/GoonHots. There, I'm posting replays, talking about replays, now and analyzing HTC drafts. People will send me their replays. We'll go over it together on stream, talk about the different things that we see in the game, and everybody has a good time. Everybody learns something, myself included. And yeah, come on by.
Yeah, definitely an awesome stream. Great analysis too. Goon's got one of the best minds in the game. Definitely give it a check it out.
Oh man, appreciate it, dude. Thanks.
No problem. And Mystic, how about you, bud? Where can people find you?
You can find me at Mystic Shroud on Twitter.
LiQuid should be returning next week. You can catch him at LiQuid, LiQiuD on Twitter. If you're looking for me, you can find me at DazHots. Also want to thank all of our Patreon supporters. If you like the show and you're looking for a way to support us, you can do so over at patreon.com/TrollsGG. We just hit our most recent Patreon stretch goal, so we're going to be doing after show games after every Nexus Trolls. So stick around after the show, and we'll be doing some of that. We're also going to be hanging out with the chat room after the show concludes. You can also subscribe to our show on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever you happen to find your podcast online. We're likely there. If you can't find us there, shoot us an email. You can email us at TheNexusTrolls@trolls.gg. I'll make sure we get our podcast up on that form as well. You can also visit our website, trolls.gg/TheNexusTrolls, to watch us some past shows, including past video streams. You can also find those on our YouTube channel. You can follow us on Twitter at TheNexusTrolls, or you can follow our network, TrollsGG, at TrollsGG. And finally, man, this outro gets longer and longer every week. If you want to hang out with us in the Trolls community in-game, you can /join space TrollsGG, TrollsGG, one word, no dot there, in-game to join our chat channel in-game. Or you can also join our Discord channel to get there. You go to trolls.gg/Discord. All the information to get our Discord server is there. Okay, that's the lengthy outro. Goon, thanks for coming on the show again this week. We'll have to do this again sometime.
Appreciate it. No, it's fun. Thank you, guys.
Mystic, thanks as always for being on your 70-something episode with me. Everyone, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Have a great week.
Job's done.
'Cause I'm TNT, I'm dynamite. TNT, and I'll win that fight. TNT, I'm a power load. TNT, watch me explode.
Goon, I love how you snuck in the job's done at the end. That was amazing.
Yeah. Hey, throw it in there. Throw it in there, man.